All right, let's talk about the course and intervention of the Rwandan Genocide. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit dark. Understand that within hours of the death of the president, within hours of the plane being shot down, the killing begins. This goes to show us that that plane crash was a part of the genocide plan. In the first days following the assassination, there's going to be a number of different events that are going to happen that are really going to shape the way the genocide is going to take place. There is going to be the killing of opposition Hutus who are moderate. So they're not just killing Tutsis. Anyone who is not supporting exactly their belief of Hutu supremacy is also going to be killed. This is going to be very similar to different groups like ISIS, for example, which is going to be killing those who are not Muslim, but also Muslims who do not believe in their version of Islam. So that's going to be kind of a good modern-day comparison right through there. And they're also going to kill UN peacekeepers. And this is going to be something that's going to really go and expand this belief of Somalia syndrome. And this is going to keep UN peacekeepers out of the country because they're afraid that if they get there, that's going to be putting their soldiers into harm's way because the Hutu extremists have already demonstrated that they're willing to kill UN soldiers. The same day the plane was shot down, presidential guards are going to go around the city killing opposition figures as well as Tutsi opponents. So this is going to be proving to us that this is an attempted coup. There is going to be the Prime Minister, Madame Agathe, right through here. The United Nations peacekeepers are going to immediately go and try to protect her. When they get their members of the Presidential Guard, the extremists are already there. She is going to try to escape the next morning into a neighbor's home. She's going to be captured. She's going to be raped and killed, as well as her husband. Her children, though I believe, do survive. The Ghanaian soldiers so then immediately right after this as well, the Hutu extremists are going to capture UN peacekeepers, 10 Belgians and 5 Ghanaian. The Ghanaians are going to be allowed to leave. The Belgians are going to be tortured, castrated, and ultimately killed, which is going to result, the Belgians are going to respond to this by withdrawing their soldiers from the country. They do allow the Ghanaians to leave. Okay, they do not hold those peacekeepers right here. They're going to be released. This is possibly revenge for imperialism. It could also be a difference between Europeans coming into their country versus other fellow Africans. But it's important to understand that the Belgian soldiers, peacekeepers, were killed. The informant previously, Jean-Pierre, talking about leading up to Delier's genocide cable, he's basically what he's saying is going to happen, happens right here. Okay, peacekeepers are going to be killed just like Delier relayed to the United Nations as part of his genocide cable. There's going to be a power struggle within the ranks of government leadership, ultimately ending up with Colonel Bagosora, Chief of Staff of the Ministry of Defense, is going to play a more prominent role. He's going to be really leading the government, the Hutu extremists, in Rwanda. Hutu power is now in control. That's an important thing to understand. RTLM, the radio station, is going to be urging people to go and kill the Tutsis and anyone who is supporting any Tutsis. Go kill them. Just go kill them. They're going to broadcast information of where the killers, or those who were to be killed, could be found. The names of people to be killed are going to be broadcast on the radio as well, and people are going to go out to get them. Members of the Presidential Guard and small bands of extremists are going to be the first ones to commit the killing. A group of Interahamwe in Puzagababumbi, I can't pronounce these, sorry, are going to get together and they're going to coordinate their killings systematically along with the police force. They're going to set up roadblocks, and they're basically just going to go and start killing them. The military is going to play a decisive role in initiating and directing the slaughter of the Rwandan Tutsi. We're going to start here. Here's how it's going to go. They're going to be very systematic in their killing, and that's important to understand. People are going to sit back and basically allow nothing, or allow it to happen. We hear right here a really troubling event where a lot of Tutsi are going to be going to the Catholic Church in the region. Remember, Rwanda is a very Catholic country. The Hutu militia is going to show up, and the priest and the clergy present are just going to simply stand back and allow it to happen, which shows that they're complicit. This is not something that you should be doing. Allowing people to be killed anyways, but especially if you are a member of the Catholic clergy, this is wrong. This is going to happen. As you can see right here, some of them were actually convicted later because of what they allowed to happen. The government officials, the Hutu extremists, are encouraging people to seek refuge in public buildings and churches. The reason they're doing this is so they're all in one location. It makes it easier to go and kill them. More people were killed in churches than in any place during the Rwandan genocide. So they're going to be going over the radio. go to the churches. You'll be safe at church. They get to the churches and they're killing them, which is just sad in the way it's going to be. Here's some different examples of different massacres taking place. You can see, like right here, I believe this is the church. When you go inside, there's bullet holes on the ceiling because that's just what they did. They put everyone inside the church, one on the roof, and then started shooting down to kill anyone who was inside. Okay, so right here, the mayor of this town right here is going to give orders for the police and militia to move in and start killing people. This is going to be the first of this kind of massacre that's going to be happening all over the country in a matter of weeks. So this is not like the only example. It's going to be happening a lot. Anarchy is brazen across the country. It is blazing from one side to the other. Mass killings by the army and the Hutu militia group, the Interahamwe, Impuza Magumbi, are going to play a major role in implementing the genocide. An estimated 200,000 Hutu participated in the genocide. Some are doing it happily and doing it for fun. They find joy in killing people. Others are unwilling, but they're doing it simply because they're afraid to do it, or they're afraid of what's going to happen if they don't. And others are doing it simply out of peer pressure because everyone else around them is doing it, so I might as well do it as well. So it is important to understand that not everyone who's killing the Tutsi and the Hutu moderates are doing it because they necessarily want to do it, but regardless, they are doing this. The aggressors are going to use rape as a conscious attempt to humiliate and to exterminate the Tutsi. There was a large amount of sexual violence happening during this time. They're going to really go after the Tutsi women, but also the men. Tutsi women historically in Rwanda were viewed as a sign of beauty, and they're going to be held in high esteem traditionally. The Hutu are going to then exploit that. Okay, they're going to say that the Tutsi women are sexual weapons that can be used to weaken and destroy Hutu men. So basically, the women are beautiful, and their beauty is going to be used as a way to deceive the men, because the men just can't manage to keep themselves away from these beautiful Tutsi women. And they're going to be using rape as a way of humiliating them before they're killed, and then ultimately killing them. They're also going to be using HIV-positive men to commit the rape, so that these women are now infected with HIV. So in this way, the genocide is still ongoing, which is sad. Tutsi men, were also sexually assaulted, genitals mutilated, they were castrated, sometimes displayed in public. So this is not something that's just happened to the women. There was sexual misconduct, so to say, against the women, but also against the men. This is also seen as an attack on the culture of the Hutu or the Tutsi, not just solely on the women. Women are viewed as a source of the community's cultural values in a number of cultures, particularly in Rwanda. So when you attack women in this way, you are also attacking the culture. So there's some symbolism going on here. As I've already said, a number of these young women were infected with AIDS and have been dying ever since. So in that sense, the genocide is still ongoing. Rape as a weapon of time of war is a notorious feature of genocide. Okay, this is not something that happens simply in Rwanda. This happens whenever there is a genocide. But understand that this was used heavily in the Rwandan genocide. Some examples right here. The media plays a huge role, as we've already talked about. RTLM radio station, broadcasting information, who to go kill, where to kill them, and where to find them at. The United Nations and non-government organizations, NGOs, are going to warn of the central role of the media during this. However, those are ultimately going to be unheard. Okay, those warnings are not going to be really recognized. The RPF is recognizing the effectiveness of Hutu power in the radio, and they're going to respond by shelling radio stations. They're going to basically go in and just attack these radio stations, bomb them, destroy them so they cannot be broadcasting across the airwaves, because they recognize how effective this media really is. The radios are going to play and take an active role in the mass killing, reading out a list of enemies who should be tracked down and killed. So they're going to be giving out a list of names, saying, go find this person and kill them. Here's where they're probably at. Go find them immediately. Anyone who does not have a identity card should be arrested and might lose their head, so kill them. The United States government is not going to get involved for a number of reasons. Number one, it's expensive. Number two, Somalia syndrome. And number three, there's going to be issues relating to international law preventing them. There is a huge amount of political pressure placed on President Clinton during this crisis. Okay, he was previously involved in Somalia, which leads to this Black Hawk Down, the incident in Mogadishu. where American soldiers are killed trying to intervene in a conflict in Somalia. There was a lot of pressure on Clinton. This did not play well for Clinton. So Clinton is really facing a lot of political pressure to not get involved in Rwanda because the Hutu extremists have already shown a willingness to kill foreign peacekeepers, even if they are not Tutsi or Hutu moderates. He's afraid to send American troops into the situation as a result of Somalia syndrome. So ultimately, he decides to do nothing, knowing full well, for the most part, what is happening. The international media is going to play a role. Initially, they're not really talking about what's going on in Rwanda. They're kind of just ignoring it, so the vast majority of the public is really unaware of what's happening. The media is going to take a larger role as the situation goes on, but they're going to be very careful to not use the word of genocide. See the map right through here, and more situations and stuff going on right through here, and the sources. That is all for this section. If you have questions, comments, put it down below. Let me know. I will see you later.